So, hi there, welcome back to my channel. I am recording this video on 1st May 2023. I am going to make sure it goes out on 3rd May 2023, which is my birthday, and I will be making 24 years old. I remember a couple of months ago, I kind of had a dream. I was in a trance, and I was in that trance. For some reason, I woke up and I was 26. And I was like, wait, how did I become 26? And there are so many things I haven't yet done, and I was panicking. Honestly, I was panicking. And I'm like, wait, I thought I was 23. How did I get to 26? And I still haven't done the things that I said I would have done by 26. And for almost 10 minutes, I was in shock that I could let 3 years go by and I haven't done those things. And I had to tell myself to relax and kind of think about how did I get here and how did I let this time go. And as I began trying to move from 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, I'm like, wait, okay, no, I'm still 23. Though even while I had that moment of peace or just a bit of relaxation from that sort of knowledge that I was 26 and time had gone without me doing the things I said I would have done, it made me realize that is how fast time is. That is how quick time is. One day you wake up and you are 40 and you're 50 and you are literally panicking because there are things you said you would have done that you did not do. And I realized that very many of us have that feeling. You could be 15 and you felt you should have done some things at 10. Great for you. You could be 21 and you feel like you should be farther ahead than where you are at that moment, and it happens to everyone. So I would like to take this time to first of all make a digital kind of journal of my experience as a 23-year-old turning 24 in 2 days, but at the same time to share what exactly my goals are going to be for the next year, not just for myself, but for people who ask me, how do you do what you do? How are you purposing yourself to transcend certain spaces and continuously improve from where you are right now? And not just that, I truly believe that I am destined for greatness, and I am going to work towards making a legacy that will transcend generations. I'm going to make sure to make a difference, to make a meaningful contribution to my community. And it will be nice in 5 years, in 2 years, when those things have actually happened and the world is able to actually have an experience of what I know in my heart. They or I can be able to turn back and say, this is how it started. This is one of the steps towards getting to where I am today. I don't want to be 60. I don't want to be 32. And I am trying to recall how exactly I came to be who I am. Very many of these things happen now in the comfort of your home, in the secrecy of your mind, of your goals that people do not know about. So me sharing this is, first of all, one, a sign of belief that I am actually going to achieve these things and that it is worth sharing because of where I know I am heading. But also, there's this verse. Let me first get it. Let me get it. I read a verse, I think a couple of days ago. Let me see. I hope I highlighted it. Yeah, it's Psalm 16, verse 5. The Lord is my chosen portion and my cup. You hold my lot. But this is what I highlighted. The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. When I read that verse, I was honestly, I don't know if it's shocked, because of course I've always known about, God's blessings and will for all of us. But sometimes reading it, you're like, okay, this guy means business. And it said, the boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. I have a goodly heritage. And when I read that verse a couple of days ago, it even makes me making this video with even more certainty, because I literally have a goodly heritage. There are no boundaries to what I can do. And this is just a symbol of that faith and belief, and which I feel like very many of us should personify in our own lives. But basically, there are very many people who I look up to or who have done inspirational things. But there's always a disconnect where you cannot truly look back and see how they came to be that way. You cannot really see how they came to actually achieve what they have achieved. You kind of see them when they have come to that self-actualization, and now they are backtracking to try and explain to you how they came to be that. And I feel like we are at an age where we feel very many things are on social media. We are looking for validation. We are looking for an example, for someone to hold our hands virtually and move along with us. And for me, I have tried looking for those people and that person, but there's always something falling short. And rightly so, because no one can completely tackle all those boxes. So I would like to be that example. I would like to be that virtual hand to someone out there who is like me, looking for someone to fill their boxes in one way or another. I hope I can fill a portion of the many boxes that you have, while others can fill other boxes. Me sharing this journey is going to fulfill that other box. And even in my search to find someone who can validate what I feel, validate what I would like to do, I came across this book. It's called Storyworthy by Matthew Dix. And he makes the joke about his name in his book, so you can't come for me. It's called Storyworthy by Matthew Dix. And it's basically a book that I haven't finished it yet, but it's a book that that teaches you to find the story in your own life, to tell your own story in your own words, not to tell someone else's story, but to tell your version of the story. And not just the stories that are grand or monumental, that really have the shock factor, but the actual day-to-day story, and for you to package it in a way that is compelling for those who are listening to you. And to be fair, we do this every single day. We do this in interviews. We do this when we meet new people and we are asked something that requires us to tell a story. We are always trying to package our story in one way or another. So instead of it being something that just happens, how about you are more intentional about it? So I am going to be very intentional about telling my story in my own words, in a way that is true to me. I truly want my corner of the internet to be honest, to be true, to literally speak to what I am going through at that moment. And I would like this to be a way that I can actually exert some of this energy towards something that is meaningful to me and that can actually fulfill one of my purposes of offering mentorship, offering guidance, offering information of what to do or even what not to do. So as I turn 24 today, because the video is going to come on May 3rd, 2023, this year, I finally actually put toward my personal vision, my personal motto. And my personal motto is embodying habitual growth. You probably can't even see this. But through this personal vision of embodying habitual growth, I'm constantly pursuing a lifestyle where I am embodying progress in whatever I do. Every single choice I make, every single word I say has to be adding up to this grand goal of constantly being in motion towards progress, towards growth, towards improvement. And each and every year we have various goals. And for me to actually become the person who, when I look back at this video, it actually makes sense. There are things that I have to achieve each and every year. There are no excuses towards achieving that. So I'm going to be sharing with you my goals for this year, and some of them began way before the year 2023. Some of them will be accomplished next year, and some of them are actually long term. But these are the goals that for the rest of 2023 and for my year as a 24-year-old, my 24th year of life in this earth, these are the things that I'm going to be pursuing. They are broken down into 5 categories. The first one is health. And in health, it's broken down into the physical and the psychosocial. I'm writing them down as I go along, because this will also come in handy for me. And in the physical, the main things I'm working on this year are going to be my gut health, which is largely defined by my diet, eating healthy, and the rest of my body, which will mainly be categorized in more exercise, getting more workouts in, doing more physical activity, things like skating, which I started this year, swimming, which I started last year, and getting really good at these for this year. And also stretching, because sometimes I wake up and I'm really, really sore because of what I do. I am on my laptop a lot. I am on the move a lot. Sometimes you kind of get so many kinks and knots in your body, and I am trying to work those things out. But also, I saw a picture of Kelly Rowland, And this is a 42-year-old. This is a 42-year-old. I feel like I look good because I'm young. I look good because the world hasn't hit me that much, you know. I don't look good because of any special thing I do. I'm not someone who is big on working out. I try to eat healthy, but it's not something I'm really conscious of. I take care of my body. I don't do drugs or drink but it's not something conscious. But when I saw Kelly Rowland in her 42nd birthday photos, and I'm like, this is a 42-year-old and she looks healthier than I am. I don't know if she has multiple kids, but I know she has a child. She has lived life. She has done things in her 42 years of living, but she looks this good. If I carry on like this, I will not look like her at 42 years old. So let me show you this picture. Oh, there was this picture. The toned arms. Of course, there's makeup and everything, but the toned arms, the really structured body. Honestly, let's give credit where it's due. She works out. She takes care of her body. She takes care of her mind, of her health, of her peace. And I would like to work at how I look. I don't want to use the luxury of age to actually maintain my health. I actually want to work hard. I want to be more physically savvy, run, skate, go to the gym, and actually enjoy it. I don't want to just do it for vanity's sake, but it's more of to feel good about myself. Oh. This is for painting. So these are some of the things that you see people, and you should be inspired by what you see. You shouldn't just, think it's because of vanity or it's because they have good genes. Okay, there are those who have good genes, yes, but it's also possible for you as well. So I'd like to really do better in that arena. Then for the psychosocial side, it's more in terms of how I feel mentally, how I feel emotionally. I'd like to have peace of mind. I'd like to be emotionally stable. I would like to manage my seasonal depression. I am someone who, because of being, there's the empathy side of it, but there's also overthinking and really feeling things deeper than most people do. And sometimes it gets to me. And even being very self-critical at times it's a very big weapon against my own self. A lot of these things I have managed through being honest with how I feel, being honest to myself, being more active physically, being more active in the outdoors, actually allowing people in, because sometimes I don't really allow people in. I deal with my own stuff, and I want to just present my best self to the world. And sometimes you're going through it, and being honest with the people you care about and people who care about you is very important, and it has helped me to really manage that. But I think that what has helped me most is actually recognizing what it is I am feeling and getting ways to manage and respond to it when it actually happens. So the first thing is health. The second is in career, which is equally similar to school. Career and school go hand in hand. I finished my undergraduate last year, 2022. I was very privileged and honored to actually pursue my master's immediately. I got the Chevening scholarship, very grateful for that, which I'm going to be finishing this year. I'll be graduating next year, January 2024, which is very good. So my goals for this year is finishing my master's. I'm equally looking towards PhD programs and really reaching out to different professors and departments in areas that I would like to work in, and starting those conversations early enough and preparing for my PhD probably next year, but latest the year after that. So starting those conversations now is very important to me. One of the areas that I would like my career to really be inspired by is rural communities and rural health. And I definitely want to embark on programs, activities, on different projects that really tackle the issues of rural communities and the rural health of those communities. And in line with that, one of the big things I'm working on is registering and founding an organization that directly works with rural communities. And my mission is to make sure that the rural is actually area a place people desire to be in. The rural isn't just seen as the place where people are actually, they're being affected by all sorts of iniquities, a lot of suffering, all sorts of challenges that other areas aren't facing. I truly believe that rural areas are actually very productive havens. They are areas where ideally people must have the best health. There's rich culture that can be leveraged to bring about development, to bring about social welfare. And I truly believe that with strategic partnerships, with commitment and people who are passionate towards making a difference, those areas can actually reach their fullest potential. And I truly want to work in those areas. So founding an organization, which you will hear about within the course of a couple of weeks. You'll hear about that. Rural health. And in rural health and these communities, all sorts of welfare programs, things that actually preserve and leverage the culture of the places, things that where the rural communities are actually equal partners. They aren't just seen as recipients of programs to bring about their own development, but they are actually agents and champions of their own progress, and they design these programs and their voices are heard, but also preserving the culture, the unity, the kinship that these areas have, and leveraging that culture that is actually missing in very many urban areas and cities, that is still strong and thriving in rural areas, and that can actually be leveraged. Anyway, clearly it's an area that I want to work in, not just in academia, but in research, in all those different areas. Even my master's research and every single thing that I have been doing is sort of looking at my impact through the lens of the rural. But at the same time, another thing I want to do is to write. I want to write, and I am writing, but I want to actually take it more seriously, where I write things that matter, not only to me, but to those around me. There are very few African young writers who have actually been exposed to. A lot of the writers I've read are not African, are not Ugandan, and that's okay. But I feel like it's also my duty, and I owe it to myself, but also to people, to my future audience, to write now and ensure that the things I feel needs to be read and passed along have to be written today. And I would like to take it even more seriously and write books, essays, excerpts, journals that I am proud of and that can also make a difference. While I actually began writing years ago, reading this book Storyworthy by Matthew Dix, which is also why I chose to buy it, is it really makes you realize that you have something to say, and if you have something to say it, write it, and put it out there, and leave the rest to the audience to decide. To those who actually will find fulfillment, will find an example, will find a lesson in what you write, but also to myself, because sometimes we are actually inspired by our past selves, and I'm very sure that my 25-year-old self, my 26-year-old self is going to be highly inspired by my 24-year-old self. So I owe it to my future self to actually have something to look back on within my life that is tangible, that they can actually recall and they can feel and have had an experience of, not just looking through the internet and finding someone to be inspired by, but I can be an inspiration for my own self. The third area is spirituality, the spiritual side. Now, in this side, the first thing I want to do is not just to read the Bible, because I have been reading the Bible, and I don't feel that I am getting as much as I should out of just reading the Bible, but I actually want to study the Bible. I want to really live and breathe the Bible, to be honest, because every time I have read the Bible, I always live more energized, I always live more fulfilled, I always feel lighter. Life is promising, like there's a lot for me in the world, and I don't just want to read it, because when you read something, it stays with you, and at times it doesn't. But when you study it, even when you do not intend to, the words and messages keep reverberating in your mind. They just keep ricocheting in your mind, even how you speak, how you walk, how you overcome temptations, the things you do, the things that you drift towards. It becomes richer and deeper, and you're more attuned to what you are actually reading when you study it deeply. And I used to wonder, well, how do people cram all these verses? People have crammed verses, and it's because they actually have taken the time to study the Bible, and that is something that I really want to do. I do not just want to read and close the book. So the way you read novels, I don't have to cram. I don't have to understand every single concept in a novel. But for the Bible, I actually do. I want to, and I will. So I am working towards that, and I also want to really go deeper in prayer. For some reason, whenever I go to church, I am overwhelmed with emotion. I used to wonder how I used to be that person who, like during church time or I retreat, people are falling and collapsing. I'm like, okay, is it that deep? It is. It actually is that deep. It is that deep. It is that deep. And I want to be that one. Okay, maybe. I don't want to. I don't want to. But I actually want to. I want to immerse myself in that depth because every time I go to church, I am overwhelmed and it's. I don't want to say it's too much, but it's intense, and I have found myself running away from those intense feelings. Maybe, maybe I I don't want to hear what God has to say because I may have to do it and maybe I'm not ready to do it but I think I'm tired of running and I'm tired of fearing intense feelings. So I am going to actually be more immersed in prayer, not just personal prayer, but even communal prayer, fellowships, gatherings, and exposing myself to a community of people who can actually hold my hand as I grow in prayer. This spiritual side also actually, it also goes back to the health arm for the psychosocial part, even the things of seasonal depression, not feeling your best. When you read the Bible, when you pray, honestly, very many of those things are really managed and they completely dissipate over time. So there's a relationship between all these different aspects. They are intricately linked and they actually build and grow from each other. So that's the spiritual. The fourth side is relationships, and this is broken down into my professional relationships, my family, friends, and romance. So basically for all these, I just want to be more intentional and of course giving the right degree of intention and effort towards the different categories based on how important and valuable they are. They all are valuable, but they require different degrees of intensity, of action, of concern, of effort, of prayer, of deliberation. And I would like to be very intentional about these different things. I would like to be someone who is present, who is reliable, who is consistent, and who is honorable. Honestly, someone whose core values. I don't just say things, but I am actually an embodiment of my different core values. So all the things that I am growing in my health, in my career, in my spiritual life, all these things will be evident in the things I do, in how I relate with people, in how I resolve conflicts, in how I network, in how I actually maintain communication with different people. So I would like to be more intentional, and different areas will have different degrees. Then the fifth side is fun and passions. Honestly, time passes us by and we really don't know. We reach a point and we ask ourselves, where did the time go? Where did the time go? And I do not want to be those people or that person who literally wakes up one day and time has gone. Time has gone. And I don't want to start this at 50. I don't want to start this at 40. I don't want to start this at 30. I want to start this now. I want to be intentional about having fun, and fun that actually aligns with everything else. I'm not going to have fun and then on Sunday I am purifying myself. No. Because I'm unclean. My fun and my passions all have to align with who I am. My work, my career, my health, even my relationships all have to align with who I am, my values, what I stand for, and what I believe in. So this is no different for fun and passions. And basically, this is allowing myself to live, allowing myself to experience and explore things, allowing myself to have adventure, to be curious, allowing myself to actually experience all those different things. And it's exploration, adventure, curiosity, and enjoyment. Just made that up. Exploration, adventure, curiosity, enjoyment. And I would like to fulfill all those different things, starting with that my inner child, the things that my inner child wanted to do but held back, couldn't do, and then I can grow from there. And one thing that I began this year was skating. This is something that I was always curious about. I think it was P6 or P5 when a classmate came to school with roller skates, and I was like, okay, I would love to learn how to roller skate, and that's where it began from. And now I'm actually skating, and I'm not doing so bad. No, I'm not. And it's something that I wouldn't say it's the safest thing, because there can be, broken bones and sprains and strains, but it's something that my inner child wanted to do, and I'm doing it. Things like swimming, which I actively began pursuing last year with a friend. I'm actually getting very good at swimming. I used to fear water. I literally used to fear water. Remember those geography trips where you go to Kasenyi and we went to Lake Victoria, and just being at the shore and seeing all that water, like it freaked me out. I'm like, okay, this is water, is scary. And I kind of have this dream of jumping in the ocean, like going on a boat cruise and just jumping in the ocean and floating. And okay, that's scary, but how am I going to do that if I don't know how to swim? So, and allowing myself to experience those things. Another thing I want to do is travel, and I don't just mean traveling to all these really there are these global grand destinations. Yes, that too, but experiencing things around me before you're thinking of going to Paris, to Bali, to Santorini, and those will happen too, but really experiencing things around me. Going to community skating rinks, going to there's a rock climbing facility just 15 minutes away from me, and I have never been there. There's a great garden. It's like I think 10 minutes away as well, but I haven't been there. But just like allowing myself to experience things around me, and before you even are planning those mega expensive trips, look around you. There's always something to do. Like even now, I left my room and came out to enjoy the sun, because it has been quite chilly. It has been quite cold lately. Sit outside and enjoy the sun and figure something out. And it has been really interesting. Just allowing myself to enjoy the little things as I work towards having the big things as well. True. So I think those are the main areas that I am working on this year: in health, in career, spirituality, relationships, fun, and passion. So to wrap it all up, is I am also creating a platform for myself where I share authentically what I feel, and I'll allow myself to be authentic, allow myself to actually share and pursue mentorship and be an example to those around me. Last year, I was so excited. I was invited for a TED Talk in Uganda, and everything was set, everything was done. The posters were designed, everything was really, really, really ready, and I was preparing this great presentation. And like some weeks to the event, it was cancelled. And I was so excited to actually be in this TED Talk. And I realized that we put so much value to being invited. We put so much, and it's great to be invited. But sometimes you don't have to wait to be invited. If you have something to say, if you have something to share it. Create a platform where you can share it in its rawness. And what's funny is with each year, with each week, with each day, you actually have something new to share. So if you don't share what is in your mind now, it's going to be lost forever. Because how I would say this today is different from how I would say this even just 1 hour from now. So I would like to share as much as I can, when I can, through platforms that are even more convenient to me, as the other invitations are actually being prepared. But I will not lack what to share or what to say or a lesson to teach. And even from this book, Story Worthy, there's a version where it talks about homework for life, where you actually are intentional about finding out the stories in your daily life. They are numerous. You can never run out of stories to share. So I want to create a platform where I can share my experiences, share my story in the most authentic way to me, and invite myself, make a space where I can invite myself to a platform, to a podium, and share anywhere I would like to. So this is basically an ode for my 24th birthday. It's a message to my future self that, do not let us down. We have made these plans. Who do you think is going to achieve them or to do them? You are. And next year I will come back and we shall see how these things have fared. And just go back and reevaluate what we have done and what we can actually improve. So today I'm outside. If the noise has been too much, this is raw. This is authentic. This is real. This is unfiltered. Yeah, so I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my plans. I'm proud of who I am becoming, and I believe in who I am becoming, which is why I am sharing it even now before it has actually come to fruition. I know the plans. I know what has to be done to make it a reality, and I am prepared to do that. So come for the ride.